The ideal American woman of the 1950s. A Stepford wife-style dress, cradling a baby with one hand and pulling a casserole from the oven with the other. The feminist Sylvia Plath feared above all else becoming the heroine of this stereotype, standing at the stove instead of discovering herself.
Must never become a mere mother and housewife. Challenge of baby when I am so unformed and unproductive as a writer. A fear for the meaning and purpose of my life. I will hate a child that substitutes itself for my own purpose, so I must make my own.
Every discussion of Plath inevitably circles back to her tragic story, fraught with contradictions. Enduring one identity crisis after another, she was constantly torn between her many roles. Poet, mother, wife, her husband's secretary. She said,
"How can I know who I am? How to let my native sense of meaning flow and connect with people and the world?"
In this video, we will forge a connection. And rather than merely recounting Plath's biography alongside the story of her depression, we will focus on how she understood the meaning of life. First and foremost, her own life. And what happened to that meaning when it became clear her fear of the ovens was not unfounded.
People specialize, people become devoted to an idea, people find themselves. But the very content that comes from finding yourselves is overshadowed by the knowledge that by doing so you are admitting that you are not only a grotesque, but a special kind of grotesque.
Plath holds a rather particular view of the classic quest for purpose. She finds it absurd that people so often grasp at a single goal, devote their lives wholly to achieving it, and in doing so forfeit countless other possibilities.
From the tip of every branch, like a fat purple fig, a wonderful future beckoned and winked. I wanted each and every one of them, but choosing one meant losing all the rest. And as I sat there, unable to decide, the figs began to wrinkle.
This quote from her nearly autobiographical novel The Bell Jar excellently illustrates Plath's persistent fear of being forced to choose one thing and lose all the other possibilities. As a result, she falls into a kind of paralysis, and the experiences and feelings she might have lived through simply vanish. She is like Burden's ass, unable to decline which haystack to eat from and ultimately perishing of hunger.
The most terrifying realization is that so many millions in the world would like to be in my place. I am not ugly, not an imbecile, not poor, not crippled. I am, in fact, living in the free, spoiled, pampered country of America.
Do you see? At the same time, Plath understands that countless people would give anything for her life. It is a feeling of disappointment, all too familiar to the modern individual. We possess things and property, we have friends, good jobs, hobbies, yet a persistent dissatisfaction with life and with ourselves remains, an abiding sense of emptiness. We have a fear of missing out. Plath too suffered from this fear, yet for her it was deeply paradoxical. She was passionately drawn to precisely that which she most ardently wished to avoid.
I want a house of our children, little animals, flowers, vegetables, fruits. I want to be an earth mother in the deepest, richest sense. I have turned from being an intellectual, a career woman. All that is ash to me.
Indeed, at times Plath desperately longed for motherhood, and in periods of creative stagnation, she saw in it the only way to find peace and a primal, almost animal happiness. It seems that here lies the very source of Plath's depression. Two extremes between which no balance exists, nor can exist: career or children. Choose. Yet Plath herself understood that this was a false dichotomy.
Here, ideally, I should forget the outer world of appearances, publishing, checks, success, and be true to an inner heart, to write for itself, to do things for the joy of them. What a gift of the gods.
Plath hopes that by renouncing ambition of the material values of the external world, she might concentrate on the internal one, to write for the sake of the process itself, to pursue anything for the happiness found in the act itself, not in order to achieve, but to live and to feel. In the 1950s, people had not yet heard of mindfulness practices, yet it is strikingly similar, isn't it?
Live it, feel it, cling to it. I want to become acutely aware of all I've taken for granted. When you feel that this may be the goodbye, the last time, it hits you harder.
If you read Plath's diaries, you will notice that she reiterates this idea in various forms countless times. It became quite literally her manifesto, to extract every ounce of essence from each moment of life, to savor all its vitality, to sink her teeth into its very flesh. As though tomorrow you would be dead, and yesterday you had not yet lived. That is, to exist like a mayfly. Not to search for some lofty and most likely unattainable meaning, but to feel the beauty of each moment and every small thing.
Why is it that I find it so difficult to accept the present moment, whole as an apple, without cutting and hacking at it to find a purpose, or setting it up on a shelf with other apples, to measure its worth, or trying to pickle it in brine?
It is like meditation, to relax and let go of thoughts about the past and the future. The problem is that it is in our nature to dissect and analyze, which ruins the magic of life and the sense of flow. When Plath was an 8-year-old girl, she wrote,
I wish I could have the ability to write down the feelings I have now while I'm still little. Because when I grow up, I will know how to write, but I will have forgotten what being little feels like.
And this applies not only to the craft of writing, but also to the art of living. In childhood, we don't know how to analyze, but we have a sharp capacity for feeling and imagining. This is the heart of life's paradox, its ultimate meaning. As we grow older, we learn to analyze phenomena and our own emotions, but what use is that if we merely categorize them rather than savor them?
We must fight to return to that early mind. A God inbreathes himself in everything. Practice be a chair, a toothbrush, a jar of coffee from the inside out. Know by feeling in.
All that remains is to strive with all our might to regain the ability to see the world through a child's eyes, to feel with a child's skin, to wonder sincerely. Let us, though unable to explain, nevertheless know the presence of God is in every small thing. All the more so because Plath invokes herself, she has already been everything, has herself embodied every particle of this universe.
Of the millions, I, too, was potentially everything at birth. I, too, was stunted, narrowed, warped by my environment, my outcroppings of heredity. I, too, will find a set of beliefs, of standards to live by.
Plath frequently returns to the idea of reclaiming a primordial, childlike state of consciousness, and even going beyond it. Before birth, each of us is potentially the entire universe. Then, through the process of growing and learning, we acquire form, both physical and spiritual. Now you are no longer the universe, nor your mother's extension. You are someone separate and alone, burdened by self-awareness.
No man can ever grasp the whole impersonal neutrality of a universe that is hidden under the mists of subjectivity. We are merely variously constructed sounding boards for the noise of the pine tree falling in the forest.
Ultimately, we are merely radio receivers, living in a search of a signal from beyond. We are created to experience every manifestation of life, especially perhaps of death. As befits any self-respecting poet, Plath was enamored of death as she was of life. And in the end, she consciously chose to live it out. It was only after her death that she received the Pulitzer Prize and attained the status of a cult writer.
Dying is an art, like everything else. I do it exceptionally well.
It seems that Sylvia Plath managed to achieve everything she desired. She became a legendary poet, the mother of 2 children, a wife, Yet despite this peculiar kind of success, her inner contradictions proved stronger. Had she lived longer, she would have experienced so much more. The joy of growing old, the fruits of the earth, watching her children grow, travel, who knows what else. But the story is already over. And though this is a story without a happy ending, it is clear that Sylvia Plath's life had a meaning. I think she would have phrased it something like this.